Welcome to For Book Lovers Only Live Radio, where we discuss amazing books written by talented authors. For Book Lovers Only Live Radio is a proud member of the Village Connector Media Network. If you love books, we have a home for you. Now time for your host and chief book lover, Rob Brown.
Hello and welcome to For Book Lovers Only Live Radio, where if you love books, we have a home for you. My name is Rob Brown, your internet radio host and chief book lover. So excited that you decided to join us today. We have a very special episode of the show. Our first author from Denmark is joining us. Author Elizabeth F. Christensen will be live with us. But first, I want to take a moment to formally welcome all of our listeners and our viewers. And if this is your first time tuning in, we'd like to cordially extend a warm invitation to you to join our Book Lovers Club. It's absolutely free. We have all kinds of perks for our members. We keep our club members posted about new authors, new books coming out, book fairs that may be in your area. We also have contests where we're going to be giving away coffee mugs, tote bags, T-shirts, baseball caps, all for you, and we really like you to join. Now, you can join in one of two ways. First, you can just go to our website, www.forbookloversonly.com. That's www.forbookloversonly.com, and give us your name and your email address. Or, if you'd like, you can just text the word book to 301-321-8887, and then you'll receive a message with a link. Click on the link and then fill in the form and then click sign me up, and you're automatically a member. We'll even give you a free gift just for joining, and we look forward to you joining our family of book lovers. Now, for today's guest, she's an author born in Nigeria but currently lives in Denmark. She was adopted by a Danish missionary, a born-again Christian, and mother to 5 children. She passionately worked with mentally ill people for 6 years until a car accident in 2004 derailed her life. After recovering, she's actively shared her testimony and faith on Facebook for 6 years. Her book, Shame on You, Rejected But Not Forgotten, is an allegorical religious fiction book about an 18-year-old named Shame, who, in spite of her dysfunctional upbringing, is able to find her purpose in life with some help from her remarkable friends. Elizabeth, welcome to For Book Lovers Only Live Radio.
Thank you, Rob.
Well, I'm so happy to have you as our first guest on the show from Denmark. We're really excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Well, I want to dive right in. You strike me as a woman of great faith. Why is your passion for Christ so deep?
My passion for Christ is so deep because he has been my faithful companion all through my life, both through the bad times and through the good times.
That's excellent. And how has being different in a foreign country shaped you? Because you were born in Nigeria, but then you moved to Denmark. How has that shaped you?
I think I have become a very tough woman because it had been really a struggle. Because when I came to Denmark in '69, there were not many foreigners. Mm-hmm. So I was bullied a lot through my whole school period. So I really had to learn to, be tough. And I think maybe that's also why I'm so passionate about my faith, because I had to stick to my faith to really, to get through all that struggle.
So your faith was an integral part in building up your resiliency.
Definitely. I'm not sure when I started to believe in God, but it was a part of my upbringing in my home. So I was taught to believe in God and to pray. I have a sister who have taught me how to pray and to be tenacious. So that has really helped me a lot.
And purpose and identity is particularly important to you. Why is that?
I have had so many different incidents where I really learned the importance of knowing who you are. And I had an accident. I was in a car accident, and I lost a lot of identity there. All the things that I normally knew about myself and the things I knew how to do and the things I have learned. So it's kind of like I have to find out who I was. And yeah, so my identity in Christ is very deep as well as my passion for Christ.
That's amazing. So your book, Shame on You, Rejected but Not Forgotten. I want to talk to you about that. There are two overarching themes in this book. The main character deals with shame and guilt.
Yes.
How have they affected your life personally?
I think they have been like a red line through my whole life, entire life. I think from the very beginning when I was born, because when my mother conceived me, she was only 17 years old, and she was not supposed to be pregnant at that time, and she was not married to my father. So I think that theme already was as issue when she was pregnant with me, because her whole entire family rejected her. So I believe that I was born with a spirit of rejection as well. So it's kind of like been something that I had to deal with all my life.
Well, that's a very powerful notion that a person was kind of born with a spirit of rejection. How has your faith helped you to overcome that spirit of rejection?
Yeah, my faith. You know, I really had to understand, and I really had to understand that I was loved unconditionally by God, that He would never reject me, that He will never abandon me, that He will never stop loving me. So that has definitely helped me a lot, because if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here. Because sometimes I was so broken and so devastated that I didn't want to live. So that's why my passion in Christ is so deep, because He taught me to live. He taught me to want to live.
So tell us more about your book, the character Shame. Tell us about the plot of the book. I know that the number 7 is very significant in this book, and I want to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, Shame, she has been through a lot of struggles through her childhood, and when life seemed to when it seems as if life couldn't get worse, it did, because then her family rejected her and shipped her off to her aunt in a totally different part of the country. So she was rejected as well, Shame. And her problem was that she has kind of like shut down about what has happened. She never dealt with it. So she never knew, what her problem was, until she meets her aunt. And her aunt is a believer and takes her with her to the church. Mm-hmm. And she gets a passion for the Psalms and the hymns. She struggles a little with understanding when the pastor is preaching, but the Psalms kind of like gives her life, new life. And then she goes to school, and she just buried herself in books, in reading and in studying, and that is kind of like a lifesaver to her. And when she finished school, 3 special people appears in the school and invites her on a journey. Mm-hmm. And that's when everything begins, where she gets to this island, Greenhouse Island, where she has to deal with all the things that she has buried, all the things that was hidden, all the things that she didn't want to confront. And then little by little, she will be growing. She's growing, maturing, and that's what we are. We kind of follow her on this journey on Greenhouse Island.
So so you follow her on a journey to Greenhouse Island. Yeah. What's significant? Is there anything particularly significant about the island?
Yeah, it's a very. I normally I wouldn't use mystical because that I don't connect that with faith, but I think that it's a very special place where life is totally different. For instance, Greenhouse Island is called like that because there are greenhouses and there are a lot of vegetable and fruit and different produce, and they grow every month. So it's kind of like, and the house they're living in is very small when you look at it from the outside, but when you get into it, it's a whole different story. So it's kind of like everything is possible on this island. But and then again, you can't get to that island without the invitation. You have to be invited to go to that island by the owner and the ruler of this kingdom. So it's kind of like a very special place.
And Elizabeth, how long did it take you to write this book?
I think that it took me, it started on Facebook. It started I was writing one chapter every day. And I think maybe I was writing for maybe 2 months or so, 2 or 3 months. And then when I got in contact with Westbound Press, they told me that the story was too short. So I had to sit down and expand it. And that took 1 month, 1.5 months to extend it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe 6 months. I think maybe it took 6 months.
Now, in the 6-month process, what was the most difficult part of writing a book?
Good question. I don't think that there was anything that was difficult about it. The only thing that was very special about it was that when I was writing it for Facebook, I didn't know what would happen the next day. I didn't know what the next chapter would be. So I just kind of like have to wait for inspiration. And some days, if I went out walking or I was washing the dishes or something else, then I will have maybe one line or maybe the midsection of one chapter or the end. And then I will have to work with that. So it's kind of like I couldn't just sit down and say, now I'll write 10 chapters. I just have to wait one chapter at a time. And that was really a challenge because I really kind of had to wait for it to come.
Okay, so you just kind of waited for the inspiration to go chapter by chapter.
Exactly. And I didn't know anything. Some people on Facebook asked me, when is the next chapter coming? And what is going to happen with Shame? I said, I don't know.
He's like, I don't know. Just when the inspiration hits me, I'll let you know.
I didn't know myself. So it was kind of like very intriguing. And when I ended it, one chapter at a time, and when I ended the last chapter, I was reading it, and I was just wondering, that's why I know that this book is inspired by the Holy Spirit, because when I read all those 30 chapters, I was amazed by the way they connected each chapter. Because sometimes I will go back and see if I have used the right name, or it's kind of like the way I was explaining the character. Is it the same I said last time? And it was kind of like, it was just a flow, just like a river like that. So it has really been a very interesting journey.
It sounds like it. What has the reception been to your book?
Ooh, that has really been a struggle because the promotion, I kind of had to do that myself. So I haven't had that many people. Yeah, in fact, there have been some negative ones because I wanted to translate it into Danish. And the publisher said no to the book because they thought it was too intense.
Oh, wow.
They thought I was too, what's it called? They thought I was, I don't know how to explain that. But they thought it was too heavy. and I was talking too much about the problems that she was going through, and I was being yeah, I can't even find the word right now. But they kind of thought that their readers wouldn't read this book because it was too much.
Oh, so they probably thought it was maybe the content with which you were dealing in the book was maybe too raw.
Yeah, I think so. And they were Christian too, but you know, it was kind of like more traditional Christians. So they thought I was too radical.
Oh, they thought you were too radical. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
The way I believe in Christ, you know, the way I'm expressing my faith through this book was too radical. It was too much.
Well,
so it was kind of, at first I got kind of like, what are you saying? You know, I got, yeah, it was a rejection. But you know, afterwards I just thought to myself, wow, this book is powerful.
Yeah, I was about to say, you know, sometimes when people consider something too radical or too raw, oftentimes that's an indication that you're going in the right direction. So I applaud your efforts. Now, for people that are watching and are considering purchasing your book, and for those who have read your book, what is the one thing that you want them to take from your book? If there's anything that they can take from this book, what do you want them to take from the book?
I want so much for them to understand and to grasp that there's hope. There's hope in Christ. You know, you don't have to end your life miserable. There is hope. It's possible to achieve something good in life. You know, sometimes you can be in trouble so deep that you just kind of like give up. But there's no reason to give up hope, no matter how bad it is. There's always hope. There's no pit that's too deep. God can still reach you there. And you know, there's always a solution. And there's always a season for everything. So this too shall pass. It's not going to last forever, no matter what struggle you're going through.
So the theme is, this too shall pass, there's always hope.
There's always hope, always, yes.
Well, I think that's great. I think that's amazing. I think the message of this book is very powerful, and people are really going to enjoy the message and take it to heart. And I want to give our viewers and our listeners an opportunity to follow you on social media. Your Facebook is Elizabeth F. Christensen. They can find you on LinkedIn through Elizabeth Christensen, and your website is www.greenhouseisland.com. That's www.greenhouseisland.com. Elizabeth, thank you so much. We really enjoyed you being on our show today, and we want to invite you back if you're deciding to, at some point in the future, write another book. We'd love to interview you again. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
I say thank you. My pleasure.
Elizabeth Christensen, we want to thank her for joining us today, and we want to thank you for tuning in. Be sure to purchase a copy of Shame on You, Rejected But Not Forgotten at ForBookLoversOnly.com. And also be sure to follow us on social media as well. You can follow us on Facebook for Book Lovers Only, Twitter at FBLONLY, that's FBL Only, or Instagram at ForBookLoversOnly15, that's at ForBookLoversOnly15. We are out of time, but once again, thanks for stopping by. My name is Rob Brown, your internet radio host and chief book lover, and this is For Book Lovers Only Live Radio, where if you love books, we have a home for you. Take care. I'll see you next time.